How was your Easter break? Even though na not bring chicken and fowl for me, I will not hold it against you. This morning, all we are doing is, you say you are bringing it. You did not cook. Okay. What we are doing this morning is rather very simple, but you should have learnt it the very first day you came, or maybe the second week, or the first week that you came here. But we deliberately don't teach it because of uh, the technicality behind it, so that you don't feel shoemaking is very hard, and you even hardly uh, find where it is being taught because of one or two reasons, right? Now, the subject of the matter is insole, how to make insole. Now, pardon my writing here. This is what insole looks like. You all know insole. I mean, if you want to make a sandal, you want to make a slippers, what have you, you are going to, there are some type of soles that will require you to have insole, and there are some that will require you to not have insole. You just have, okay, what I think what we call insole now is the one that you put wet around it. Abi, I think you get it clearly now. But you see, that insole is what you can use for any kind of sole whatsoever, whether it's going to have welts, whether it's not going to have welts. You understand that if you are doing a wetless sole, that is a sole without welts, it will be more like the insole plus the width of what the welt is going to occupy. Abi, is that logical enough? uh then you can shape it into whatever you want to do. So that's basically what we want to do this morning. It is very easy and very interesting, but uh I will need you to understand some basic mathematics, mathematical logic, or mathematics whatever, right, in constructing it, because basically you are going to be constructing it even without the foot. When I mean without the foot, that's without drawing the foot out. So if you are going to be drawing it without the foot, that means you are going to be using geometric method, that is drawing lines, and connecting lines for you to uh, be able to achieve the insole. Now there are three things you need. Number one is the length of the foot, the length of the foot. Number two, you need, I mean, yes, the measurement, right? Number two, you need the ball measurement of the foot. The ball measurement is measuring around the ball region of your foot. That's taking the tape all around, right? And number three, you need the short heel length, right? The short heel length is the measurement you take around here. Please look at your, make sure you are capturing everything properly. Is measurement you take around here, this part of your leg, to the creasing point of your leg. This is what I mean by creasing point. Here, that looks as though it's folding. That's the creasing point. So to take a measurement around there is simply like this. Of course, you will not measure it. You will not take any measurement while your leg is floating. You have to measure it on the ground when it's bearing weight, because as it is now, if you measure it, the result is going to be different from when you are standing on it. When you stand on it, the foot will expand. When you are measuring without load on the foot, it will shrink, sort of. Just take it like that, it will shrink. So it will not give you the full measurement. So to measure it, you are going to take your tape from your heel like this and go round where the tape crosses. I mean, where the where number one meets any of the reading here, that's the value. I think this is very simple enough, abi. But just know that you are taking the measurement. Okay, you see the result now. By the time I put my foot on the plant, it is becoming bigger, abi. So don't measure it while it is floating. Measure it while it's carrying some weight, right? So for this one, this my own is measuring 34.5. Okay, so that's not hard. While for the ball measurement, this is your ball region here. You are just going to wrap your tape around it. Whatever you get, you take note of it. While for the length, you simply measure the highest point to the back around here. Some people, for some persons, it will be the second toe that will be longer than this. Those are just the three measurements you have to take. And those are just the three measurements that you have to take if you are doing for yourself, right? Of course, if you are doing, let's say you are doing for a size 43 or 45 or whatsoever size, you must not have those persons with you. There is already a table that has all these three values for all the sizes, right? Length, just like they do in factory, they already have the charts that they use to make all these things. You don't need to have it. But if you are doing, the one we are doing now is doing for yourself. That's using your own leg so that you can see what it actually looks like on your own foot. Then later on, I will send the table or the chart that will contain this measurement for every other sizes, so that if you want to do for every other sizes, you'll be able to do it for yourself. That will be your own uh, that will be your own job to do, right? That will be your own. But what you are going to do today is um, for your own self. You measure your own the parameters from your own leg, and you do it. Now, we could have started just so quickly, but remember I mentioned that we are using geometric method to draw this thing out, right? And this geometric method will involve you to do some mathematics, some division, some subtraction, addition. So most of the things you'll be doing in most of the uh, measurements you are going to be taking or division you are going to be taking is number one third. This is how to write one third, I believe, right? 1/3. Then half, 1/2, right? Two third, which is 2/3, right? And sometimes 1/6, 1/5. I just want you to get how to, even if you have not done mathematics before, how you'll be able to, if I tell you to find the one third of any value, how you'll be able to bring it out without any any what was any problem. Is that okay? So let's take a value, and this is just a random value. Let's say, give me a value, any figure. 7. Good. Number 7. Now, if I tell you to find the one third of 7, this is, please, I know you all know this, but just so I'll be on the same page with everybody. You know it, I know. I know you know it, just so you be on the same page with everybody. You have the video, don't confuse yourself. If I tell you to look for the one third of 7, it means I'm telling you to divide 7 by 3, right? This is in mathematics. There's something called BODMAS or whatever they call it, BODMAS. Inside the BODMAS, there's of. Off means multiplication, right? Abi, don't worry about it. Off means multiplication. So if you say one third of 7, it basically means 1/3 times 7, right? Sorry, it's mathematics, but let me just clear it. It basically means 1/3 times 7. So anytime you hear in mathematics you say of, it is actually multiplication, abi? So 1/3 of 7 will be 7 times 1, then 7 divided by 3, abi? Whatever you get is the 1/3 of this 7. So you don't even need to use your brain, use your calculator to calculate it. When you hear 1/3 of 7, what you are simply saying is 7 divided by 3. So from your calculator you just simply go 7 divided by 3. The answer here is 2.333 and multitude of 3, right? If you so desire, you can round up or you just leave it as 2.3, right? So 1/3 of 7 is 2.3333 whatever, right? Now let's move on to the next one. 1/2, which is half. I think you know that one, right? That just means the same way, means divide 7 by 2, right? Good. Divide 7 by 2, and you know 7 divided by 2 should be around 3.5 thereabout. It should be 3.5. Now the next one, which is a little bit complicated, is 2/3. When you hear 2/3, it simply means divide something into 3 portion and you carry 2 part of it, abi? Sorry, I know you are mathematical genius, but let's establish this. 2/3 of 7, what it simply means is 2/3 times 7, abi? That is 2 times 7/3. That's 14/3. That's how to do it. Anywhere in the world, I think that's the simplest way you can even think of it. So that would be 14/3, abi? So 14, if I'm getting it wrong, please let me know. 14/3 is 4.667, right? Now this is 1/3 of it. This is 2/3. Remember I said 2/3 is divide it into 3, carry 2 portions, right? So 2 of this will give you this. That's the meaning of 2/3. Like 2 times of a third. Is that okay? So if you hear 2/3 of anything, that's what it means. Now 1/5, the same thing, means 7 divided by 5, right? 1/6 means 7 divided by 6. Don't bother about what the outcome will be. Calculator will do it for you. Okay? So anytime you hear 2/3, we have established that you've known it already, abi? Is that okay? Thank you. So let's get to the real work now. Okay. Now we are going to do it on paper, but let me just give you a breakdown of what you should expect. Number one is you already by now know how to draw perpendicular line, right? Abi? Do you not know? Of course you do. We always draw it. Now we have the length, the ball region, and the short scholar short e length. So let's just take hypothetical values. Hypothetical values. Length, let's say for my own length, this is 27.6. Ball region, let's say 26.5. And short e length, let's say 30, whatever, 36. 30, what did I get just now? I can't remember, but let's take 35. Is that okay? Three hypothetical values, not ideal, not real. Now, what you do is, number one, if you care to write, you write. If you also are going to get this uh latest tomorrow morning or midnight you get to upload it. Number one is length. That's the most important thing you want to do, because that will tell you the entire length of the insole, right? Length. Your insole, you draw a line like this. That line should be equivalent to this line, to your length. Let's say 27.6, right? Let's say 27.6. You are going to draw a perpendicular line against the end of the line. Just draw a line like this that is perpendicular. You know how to draw perpendicular line. Perpendicular line means this line should be at 90 degree, right? Don't bother about what 90 degree is. Okay, so this is the end of the pattern you are going to draw. Now, the top of the insole, which is the length of the shoe itself, of the leg, let's call this point A. Okay, don't sleep on me now. Let's call this point B, right? Because of the way, look at the way my slippers is, there's usually some space in front. Okay, so you are going to give it a little space. So it means you are extending this line. This line is also a perpendicular line. This line is also a perpendicular line, right? So we have here, we are extending this one upward by 0.5, right? By 0.5, because of the fact that what we are doing is insole. By the time you are done, you are going to have welt all around. So this under, you want to reduce from it so that welt will be able to occupy that space when you are done. I think I'm still making sense, right?
Yes, sir.
Please just get it though. Is this is why we don't always teach it at the beginning. So let's say this space now is 0.5, more or less equivalent to what we added at the top. Is that okay? But we are removing this. The reason why we are removing it is because we know that welt will come around it and fill up that space. 0.5 centimeter. Everything I'm doing is in centimeter, right? Now, call this point C. So we have A, we have B, we have C. Then this point we have D. Is that okay? Do you know how we got this point? All these lines are perpendicular line against the individual points. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to now do is measure the length of the foot, which is this one, and get 2/3 of it. You know what 2/3 will now be, right? It means you multiply this by 2 and you divide by 3. So when you measure it from this A, you measure the 2/3 upward, and let's say this is the point right here. So you also label this one, let's say E, or whatever you want to give it. Label it like that. 2/3 of this, not the entire length, not plus the extra at the top, the length of the leg by itself. So you measure from down to here, you get the 2/3 of it, right? Then afterwards, you are going to, from this point, you are going to draw, you are going to measure 1 centimeter towards this outside part. You are drawing the right leg of the insole. You know, the right leg of the insole is usually, the right part, which is lateral part, is usually longer than the medial side. So you measure 1 centimeter towards this side. Let's say that point is this now, Abi. This point is going to be connected down to this point C. That is what is going to shape the direction of your heel. Is that okay? I think you must have been seeing that one in your in shoe insole. That's what you are going to use to shape the direction of the heel. Then after you measure this, after you connect this point to this point, this length, this length of the feet, you are going to divide it by 5. That's 1/5, right? And you are going to measure that along this new line. That is, you are starting from here. Let's say whatever you get from division of this one to this one, let's say it's now 6 or thereabout. You are going to measure it from here, this point, all the way up. Is that okay? Then after you measure it from here to here, you are now going to draw a perpendicular line on top of this line. At this point, it will be like this. Is that okay? No, no, don't. We will come and do it on paper. I'm just giving you like yeah, an overview. You are going to draw a perpendicular line on this point, on this 1/5 that you measured here. Then your short heel length here, you are going to divide it by 5. This one, which is your ball, okay, your short heel length, you are going to divide it by 5. That 5, whatever you get, let's say you get 7 for this case, right? That's going to shape, that will be responsible for how wide your insole is going to be. Okay, so from this center, the value that you get, you give the half to this side, you give the half to this side. So that's more like 3.5, 3.5. Is that okay? That is the width of this guy here. That's what will shape the heel, the width of the heel. Now, the next thing, which is almost like the last thing that we are going to do on this board, is this ball measurement. You're also going to divide it by 3. Once you divide by 3, whatever measurement you get, let's say for this case, this is a what is this now? Whatever. Let's say you get 8 point something or so. Whatever you get, the half of the value is going to come to this side. Half of the value is going to come to this side plus 1 centimeter. Is that okay? So at this point, let's go to the drawing board. Just what I want you to know is your short heel length, you are going to be dividing it by 5. After you divide it by 5, the result you are going to split it into 2. So automatically you can divide this directly by 10. Half here, half here, right? I mean, whatever you get, that's 3.5 on this side, this side. You are dividing short heel length by 10 or by 5. If you divide by 5, you have to divide by 2 again. So by 10. This ball region, you are dividing by 3. You are also going to split it into 2 again. So it means you can divide by 6. Is that okay? Is that okay? The length of the foot, you are not dividing by anything other than you are dividing by 2/3. You are getting the 2/3 of this one. You are getting the, you are dividing this by 10. You are dividing by 6. Is that okay? That's actually the only division you are going to be making. So let's get to the board. End of section 1. Let's come and, can somebody come and measure my leg so that we use my leg to get what we want to do. So this, our 3 values that we want to measure, this is going to measure just one of it for us, which is the length, right? uh for you, if you want to get the length, you basically going to measure around, and you measure from the back to the highest point of the leg. That's the length. It's as simple as that. But this can just give us the length straightforward. From what I have here, this is 27.45. is it 4 or 6 now? 27.4, right? If any of your leg is bigger, you do for the longer foot. You do for the longer foot. So for this my leg now, I think the second one is a little bit longer. This is 27.5 or 6, 27.6 thereabout. That is our first measurement. That is 27.6. That's the length of my leg. The next one is the ball measurement, which is like this. You wrap around your joint like this. For me, this is 26.3, a bit 26.5, thereabout 26.5, right? That's 26.5. Ball reach 26.5. Ball, that's B. While the short E length for me is 30. What's this now? 30, 34, 34 point. Let's say 34.3, thereabout. See the mark here. 34.3. So 34.3 short heel length. So now let's get to it. Let's get the work started. You have 2/3 of the length, right? So 2/3 of the length is 27.6 times 2 divided by 3, right? So 2/3 for us is 2/3 is equal to 18.4. Abi? That's 2/3 of our length. For the next one, ball region, we are going to divide by what? By 6. Good. So we have 26.5 divided by 6 is equal to what is this? 4.41. So 16 is equal to 4.42. 4.4 thereabout. Now the third one, we are dividing by what? 10, which is simply 3.43, right? Just for calculation sake, 34.3 divided by 10 is equal to 3.43, right? Good. So let's take note of all these values. So let's come to the drawing board. Please make sure you can see from there. I don't think we are going to calculate any. Okay, 1/5 of the length of the foot, the one we used to get the heel region. So 1/5 meaning that we are dividing our length of foot, which is 27.6, by 5, abi? That's 1/5. That is what is 5.52. That's 1/5 of length. Is that okay? So that way, I think we are not doing any calculation again. There's no more calculation, I guess. So you can do away with this. So let's start the real work now. So number one, you draw a line. You draw a line like this. If you have a ruler like this, you can simply just draw this part, that will be perpendicular against this one by itself. So you can simply extend this one to the other side. That's our first line. So this is point A for us, right? Now we are going to get the length our of our leg. We are going to mark it here. What's the length of our leg? 27 point what? So this we go to 27. This is 10, this is 20, 21, 25, 26, 27.6. This is 27.6, right? Now at the same time, call this B, Abi. At the same time, you measure this part here, which is 1/3, I mean 2/3 of the length. Instead of coming back, let's just measure everything once and for all. 2/3 of the length of the leg. That is 18.4. So this is 10, 15, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18 point what? 4, Abi. So this is 2/3 of length, Abi. Good. Now you are going to add to the top of this one the allowance for the extra. Now for us, we are choosing 5 mm as allowance. The more allowance you add, the more spacious the front of the slippers will be. Is it clear, Abi? Do you understand? The more allowance you add in front, the more spacious the slippers is going to be by itself. So for here we are adding 5 mm. We've already measured 20 what now 0.6, so this will be 5 mm. The end of this line is 4 mm away from here, so I just added a little bit to make it up to 5, right? Now this one, we say we are going to remove 5 mm from under. Do you see follow?
Yes, yes.
So let's just mark everything we can mark on this straight line first, once and for all. Is that okay? So we have marked, this is, good morning, this is 5 mm minus 5 mm, right? So let's call this is A, this is B, let's call this point C, let's call this D, let's call this, what should we call it? F, or whatever name you want to call it is your cup of tea, right? Or you call it J because it's for the joint, whatever, but just follow. Now the next thing I said you are going to do is to measure 1 centimeter away from this side towards here, because for us this is lateral. If this is going to be your lateral, then it means you are going to measure to this side, right? But let's see it as we are doing the right leg. Right leg. If you were to be doing left leg, then this would be your lateral point. So we are doing right leg. We are doing the right thing, right leg. So measure 1 centimeter away from here. A good way to measure it is to just make your line, your tape perpendicular to it, and measure that point 1 centimeter away from here, right? Later you can write out the step by step by yourself. So this point, you are going to connect it to C, not the end again, because it is as though this part is no longer part of our pattern again. We have removed from here upward by 5 mm, right? So connect this C to this 1 centimeter point. I'm sure it should not confuse you, but even though it confuses you, uh, sooner or later you get it very clearly and you'll be able to do it offhand. I hope I'm able to do it offhand, sha. So uh, let's draw a perpendicular line against this one. Remember, I told you this, just as we have perpendicular line here, we are going to have for this one, we are going to have for this and for this, not for this. Is that okay? Good. So let's draw a perpendicular line. If you don't know how to draw perpendicular line, this is how to draw it. Align one part of this long ruler with, let it be straight with this line, because that's what you want to draw the line against. Then draw under. This one has to be parallel with this one all through, right? So this line is C, right? Now the 1/5 of our length, which is 5.52, we are going to start measuring from here along this line, not this one now, along this one. So what do we have? 5.52. So we can just do 5.5 for convenience sake. 5.5, right? So after getting this 5.5, it is on top of this line now. The next thing to do is to draw a perpendicular line against this point. If you cannot use this one to draw perpendicular line, just bring your tape rule and do like we always do for the last. Let it align with this. Is that okay? It's also a perpendicular line. Just say this one can bend in the process of drawing the line. But if you hold it firm enough, a perpendicular line is a perpendicular line, right? So hold it firm and draw the line. Now this line on this side and on this side, well, meanwhile this point is H because it has to do with heel, the direction of the heel. That's why we call it H. Now this perpendicular line, the length to this side and to this side is this one, short heel length. That's the over 10 value, abi, which in this case this is 3.43. So from here you measure 1, 2, 3, 3.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, somewhere in between there. You draw it up, and from there you draw here. That's a perpendicular line for this side. Now for the other side is 1, 2, 3.4, 3.4. Sorry, it's 3.43. So you also connect the line like this. So this one you call H1 or 2, but let's say H2, H1, because it belongs to the line of H. Is that okay? This point, you divide the length of the foot by 5. This is it here. You divide by 5. When you divide by 5, you measure it along this one, that is this second line, from point C upward. After you get that point, what you divide by 10 here, you are going to measure it to the right and to the left. Is that okay? Good. So let's proceed. Is there any problem here? No, right? Good, good, good people. Now measure from here to here, from here to here, and you divide it by, you divide it by 3. Now this is, you already know the measurement is more like 3.43, abi. So you divide that value by 3. Whatever you get, you are going to mark it around here. What did you get? Okay. 3.43 divided by 3 is equal to 1.14. So you measure your 1.1 here, still on the H line, abi. So we have H1, we have H2. Where this H line crosses this one, call it H3. Okay. Then this point that we just have here, call it H4. We don't need to ascribe any other letter because it's on the H line. So H1 is your 1/10 to this side, 1/10 to this side, H2. Where the line crosses this one is H3. And the 1/3 of H, your starting point, not H3 now, your starting point to this side, your 1/3 of it is H4. Is that okay? Is that mathematically clear? Good. A lot of yeah. It's not clear. Now, if it's not clear, you better say it now so that you, because we are building is going to become more complex and complex. So anyone you don't get now, quickly say it. Should I go over this again? Okay. First step, your length of foot, you've gotten it, abi. You get 2/3 of it for the ball region. You get 1/5 of it for the heel region. Is that okay? Now, your ball measurement, you get 1/6 of it for both sides of the ball region. You get your short heel length, you get 1/10 of it for each side of the heel region. Is that okay? Now, this is what we have done so far. You measure the length of the foot, which is from A to B. You draw a perpendicular line at the point A, which shows the end of the overall pattern. Then you remove 5 mm from it. You draw another perpendicular line on it, which is this new line. That new perpendicular line, here you call it C. Okay, good. Now you measure the 2/3 of what's it called? Of the length of the foot from the beginning. You know, when we're drawing the length of the foot is when we mark the 2/3 of the foot, the 5 cm and the extra allowance at the top, abi. So we've already marked 2/3 here. That's what we call F. This D that you have here is about 5 mm. Is extra in front of the insole. Is that okay? More like what we remove from the back here, but we are putting in front. It's not necessarily what we remove from the back, it's just extra in front of the foot, right? This one that we remove from here will be compensated by the welt that we are going to wrap around the insole. Abi, are we clear up to that point? Now, from your F point, which we call the ball region now, which is 2/3 of your foot, we draw we measure a point which is 1 cm to the right of it because we are doing right leg. If you are doing left leg, it will be to the left of it. Is that okay? So that point, which is 1 cm away from here, you are going to draw it to C because we don't have anything to do with A again. Abi? So you draw it all the way to C. When you draw to C, you extend even upward. Then the 1/5 of the length of the leg, you are going to measure it from C on that new line. 1/5 of the length of your leg. That is the length of this from A to B divided by 5. Whatever you get, you measure it from C. Anywhere it stops here is what we refer to as H. Is that okay? Are you still following? Please get it. Is what we refer to as H. And now said this point H, draw a perpendicular line to it, to the right and to the left. But the length of the perpendicular line is this one, short A length divided by 10. So you carry your tape or your ruler or whatever, you position it in such a way that it will be perpendicular to the line. Abi, you know how to do that, right? Then you measure the 1/10 to this right side, which is 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3.43. You do the same on this side, 1, 2, 3.43 on this side, right? So this one is H1, this one is H2. You can switch them, whatever you want to, which one you would like to be H1, which one you like to be H2. But they are both H because they are perpendicular line against H. Share you get. So this is H1, this is H2. They can switch and it doesn't matter which one. It's just labeling case. And you can also decide to call it WX. Is that okay? Are we clear up to this point? Now I said automatically when you are drawing this line, it will cross this line. Where it crosses the line, call it H3. Abi? Now the beginning of the H by itself to this side, right side again, divide it by 3. Whatever value you get, you measure it from H, not from this side. You measure it from H and you get here. That place, call it H4. That is where we are, or that is where we were. Now where we are. Is that okay? Can we now continue building? Good. Now this H1, the media side, right? Connect it directly with a line to F, your ball, your two-third of here, right? With a line, which is from here to here like this. Is that okay? Is that okay? Good. Now, after connecting here to here, you are going to draw a perpendicular line at this point against this line. A perpendicular line at this point against this line so that you get like, so that you'll be able to get the ball point for the lateral and ball point for the media. So let's come with our tape. I think that is more easier. So put your tape to be perpendicular like this and drag it up to that point. Right? You know what I did? Like this is not perpendicular now. So drag it up to this point right here. Lay your tape flat. Don't let it shake. Now to the media side like this, your 1/6 that you have here, you are going to measure from this point to this side. That 1/6 is what? 4.42. So this is from here. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 0.42. So you draw your line there. This line is automatically perpendicular to this. Okay? I hope I'm not covering it. Is that okay? So on this other side, you are going to measure that 4.42, but you are going to add 1 centimeter to it. The reason is because the ball region of the medial side, of the lateral side, is usually longer than the medial side. Even if you divide the last into two at the center point, you see that the lateral side is wider than the medial. Is that clear? So that's why you're adding 1 centimeter to it. So what are you going to measure on this side?
5.42.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.42. You can be discarding the 0.2 because there's no perfect way to measure it on this tape, right? So it can be 5.4. If it is greater than 5, if it's greater than 0.5, you can round it up to the next figure. So you now call this one F1, F2. All the two are on this side, all the one are on this side. Do you get? Is this part clear? Should I take this part again? Okay, good. But the rest are clear, abi? Draw a perpendicular line. Draw a perpendicular line against, the perpendicular line is against the end of this line. The end of this line is also here, right? So the perpendicular line should be against here, like this. I'm even using tape so that you can get it. Tape can bend it, so it's not the perfect thing to use. Now align this to this line. You can simply do that by shifting, aligning it here and shift until the top get to the point. I think that's a easy way to do it if you are not mathematical. Now your 1/3 of the ball region, this part is the ball region of the last or the foot or whatever. So you just want to get where the ball region is. And if you notice very well, if you have noticed, the ball region of the medial side is always ahead of the ball region of the lateral side. Have you noticed? If you are drawing that vamp line, the one for the medial side is always more like slanting to the front. The one of the lateral side is always behind. This is where it came from. This one is slanting to the back. This one is slanting forward. Is that okay? Now, so you measure 1/6 of this value here. You measure 1/6 of this value plus 1 on this side. That's how we got here. Is that okay? Please don't sleep on me. Is that good? Are we fine? Now, it's now time to start connecting lines with lines. Number one, you connect this H4 to this guy here. H4 to F1. H1 to F1, and you continue the line just like we continue this line, right? Right? You are doing rubbish, right, Abi? Now connect H1, H2 to F2 and continue the line forward also. Is that okay? You are just connecting lines now. I'm not doing any big deal. Connect this to C. These 2 points, let them meet at C. That will be like this, Sabi. This one to C, Abi. This is not math, this is shoemaking. You do not know that the founding father of shoemaking built it on mathematics. You were not informed. They built it on geometry. You just think you want to do shoemaking for the sake of it. Now, the next thing to do is to draw a perpendicular line against here and against this point. Is that okay? So, uh, I will just be using tape so that I will not confuse anybody. with so much, but just make sure your tape is hard straight enough so that the line doesn't bend. Let your perpendicular line cross here. That's for this. This is the end of the length of the leg, abi. This is the allowance in front of it. Abi. Now, oh, the mark did not show here. So before you think this is how wide it will be in front, no, that's not how wide. Once you get to the ball point of the leg, the let's use last now, it will slope forward. It will become smaller once you get to the ball point. In fact, the ball point is usually the widest point on the last, right? So it's more like it will become smaller. The way it became smaller here, then in front will also become smaller. So this is how to get it. The total length of this one, the two-third of the total length of this is what you are going to put here. Now, the length of this one is 4.2. Let me write it here. Sorry, 4.42. This is 5.42. Do you know how it became 5.2? Because of one, Abi. Do you know? Are you sure? Good. Sonny, you are you na boss now. So the two together is what? This is 489.84, right? The two of them together, that's the total length of F1 to F2. Is that okay? So 4.8, sorry, let me just use calculator. 4.42 plus 5.42 equal to 9.84, right? So this 9.84, you are going to find the two-third of this value. Two-third of this value. That two-third of the value is going to be 9.84 times 2 divided by 3. That's 6.56. So two-third of here is 6.56. Let me write it somewhere here. 6.56. That's the total length here, Abi. So it means you are going to measure that 6.56. You are going to divide it to two. One from here, one on this other side. Is that okay? So it means 6.56 divided by 2, 3.28, Abi, or we just say 3.3. So from here now, you measure from this B, top of the length, you measure 1, 2, 3, 3 point what? 1, 2, 3, 3.3. You call this one B1. The same thing on this side, you measure 3.3, Abi. 3.123, right? This point you call it B2, barrier 13. Who was that thing? B13. So this point B1, you are going to connect to this one, just like we connected this to this and this. So it's just simple connection, no mathematics there. Just connect the dots, draw it up so that I can cross this your allowance that we have here. This one also, draw it up so that we can connect this to this. Are we good? Where should I start? Where should I take it from? Okay, from the B, we measure the full length of here to here, which is, we agreed it is 9.84, right? You got the two-third of it. The two-third of it will be the total length of here to here. But this is our reference point. We have to divide it into two so that we know from here to here and from here to here, right? So we divided it by 2. The two-third of this value we divided by 2. We measure from here to here, to this point, from here to this point, right? We now call it B1 because this line belongs to B, this line belongs to D, this line belongs to C, this line belongs to A, this line belongs to H, this line belongs to F. Anything you are doing on the line will be like the next number, like F1, F2, F3, F4. So this is B1 because all our one have been kept here. You can switch it anyhow and you can decide to not use B. It's just, it's the point that is important, not actually the name. It's just so that if you want to write the step down, you'll be able to say you connect F1 to B1. You don't need the name at all. Do you get? So this is B1 and this is B2. The way you connected this to this, like connect all the outside points to each other, you connect this to this, you connect this to this, showing you how slope that this front is now small, this back, this is the widest point. That is what you always look for when you are drawing last reference, the widest point. It is here. It's the same thing from the last here. This is what they used to make the last. Is that okay? Just that this one we are doing for slippers. Slippers doesn't have too much space at the front. If it were to be a shoe that we are making this one for, you have this as much as this space in front so that by the time you are drawing, everything will now become narrow in front. But this is for slippers, okay? The same method, the same everything. Now, once you have gotten to this stage, this is technically the insole pattern. This is technically the insole pattern. The largest point of your foot is here and here. Your big toe is here. This part is empty because your big toe is the highest or the second toe is the highest. All here is empty because you will align yourself like this. Abi? So if you are very smart enough, you can start drawing. But we will now continue to further to what we now what we now bring the insole shape out so that by the time you are, all you just have to do is to just connect the dots and your insole will be out. Is that okay? Good. So number one is this. This part of the insole is usually slope. Your insole from the ball point usually slope in to connect with this one. Abi? Usually slope in to connect with this one. This part to this part, they are always the same at the base. They all from here to here, the whatever shape is on this side is the same shape that will be on this side. Is that okay? Whatever shape is here is on this side. They are the same. They are symmetrical at this base, right? And this is their center line because this line we drew it against this one, right? So this one remains more or less the same. This one remains more or less the same. So let's start taking the marking for them. Where's the yellow tape? This number one thing to do is to measure F1 to H1. Once you measure it, can somebody bring one insole for me from there? Okay. What we want to do is to know where this one is going to pass through along here. You can see this here, the same thing here, right? So measure the length from this point to this point. What we have here is 13.4 thereabouts, right? Abi? So that 13.4 divided by 3. You divided, okay, 4.46. So you are going to measure 4.46 from this top, I mean from the down, This is 4.4, this is 4.46, right? You are going to measure that same 4.46 from this top downward. So this is another 4.46. That's dividing this into one third and one third, right? So you are going to put your tape in such a way that you have a, like, you want to draw a perpendicular line, but you are not really drawing a perpendicular line. Measure where this line will intersect with this one and divide it by 3. What you'll be doing is just from now is just dividing by 3, dividing by 3. So you measure from here to here, or let's just say we draw a line on it. So this one is 1.55. Let me write it beside it. 1.55 divided by 3 will be what? So that's 0.51. When you are drawing a male insole, this is what you are going to use at this point. When you are drawing a female insole, you are going to use the next one, the next one third closer to here. Female insole are usually narrow at this part. Male insole are not always that narrow. So when you are drawing male insole, you are using this outside one. When you are drawing for female, you are using the inside one. Is that okay? This point is going to connect to this point, but let's move on. The same thing you did here, you are doing the same thing also here. That is, look for the one third. This is 1.5. One third of 1.5 should be 0.5, right? 0.5. So you measure the 0.5. You also measure 0.5 from this side. This is one third from this side. This is one third from this side, right? So when you are drawing female insole, you are using the inside one. You are drawing male insole, you are using the outside one. Is that okay? Now, this this length that we have here, which is what do we call it again? 13 point what? 13.4, right? Is it 13? 13.4 divided by 2. That will give us what? 6.7. You connect, you measure here, or what, the same thing you did here, but it will be from this point to this intersection point. More like you are drawing a line there and you are finding the one third on both sides. Are you following what you did to this one? So this one is 1, this one is 2.3. So one third, 2.3 divided by 2 will be what? Ah, 2.3 divided by 3. Yes. 0.7. Okay. So 0.7. So on this side, you also measure 0.7 from here for the female version. Abi? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this part is going to be more like for the male, for the female. Is that okay? Good. Now, uh, the next part is this one can remain the same, but sometimes it also goes inward a little bit to now come out down here. So if you want it to go inward, just just measure from here all the way to here, divide by 2. No, by 2. By 2. This is 11 point 11.3 thereabouts. If you divide 11.3 by 2, you get what? 5.65. So this point, how deep you want it to go inside, you mark it here. So let's say 3 millimeter inside here. So this is going to curve here and curve out back. That's if you take it very deep inside, the more deep this is going to go inward too. Are you understanding? This one is deep here. The the depth of this one is dependent on how far you go inside here. Do you get? Are we on the same page? Good. So here is more like going to be like this. Then the base, connect this line fully downward like this. Once you are getting to, can I have a pencil? Once you are getting to the, once you start approaching the under of the line, you are now going to curve, start curving to meet this one. The earlier you curve, the narrower it will be. The later you curve, the more squarely the edge of your insole at the under part will be. Do you get? So if you say you go like this and you curve here, your insole is going to have a sharper corner around here. So once you do this, anywhere you choose is dependent on how you want this part of your insole to be. Is that okay? There is nobody is holding you. Then you fold your paper along this, which line? This one, right? Then you simply fold it along this line and you copy it on the other side. Which part are you copying on the other side? Only this part, not the remaining part. So they are only here, nine remain the same for the two of them. So let's say I want to do this. I should be able to see it on this side, right? And it will also come to this point because they are literally more or less the same. The process is long, but it's too long, but I should cut it down. Now, this is the base of your insole. The type of insole you are making will now determine which of this one is going to curve and enter inside here, right? So that is one. I think we are done for this done. This one comes almost like this. Are we good? So let's continue with our, we are done with this lower part. We are left with just upper part. Now, because of the ball, you will not just, the last is not always made, or the leg is not always made in such a way that after you reach here, you just snap inside. There will be like a momentary part. That's why it is sometimes always difficult. You cannot pinpoint which is the highest point because there's like a part that continues to be like the highest point. So you are going to follow this line a little bit after you come out from wherever here. You see these 2 points here and here. We follow either of these, but must come back here. Shey you get? So you can say you are following here, you are coming here. You can say you are following here, you are coming here, depending on whatever you want to do, right? So, but you are going to follow this line momentarily, momentarily, right? Good. So how long are you going to follow before you now finally start curving inward, which is around here? You see, here is a little bit like continuous before they now start bending inward. Continuous before they now start bending inward. You are going to measure this line from the very top. We are dealing with the allowance now. Everything is now because we are trying to shape everything. You measure from the beginning to this point, which for us here, um this is about 8.7675. 8.75. You are going to measure one third of it. That's dividing it by 3. Whatever you get, you are going to mark from here. What did you get? 2.91. 2.9. So this line that is coming is going to continue on this line before we now start curving inward. Now, the next thing to do is to now measure on this line. The one third that we have here, we are going to measure it here also. What did we have here? 2.91, abi? We are going to measure it here. 2.9. You see the same thing we did to this one, because there will be a next line to it. That's exactly what we are going to do to this one also. You are going to measure the line and measure the one third of the line. This line is 1.25. 1.25 divided by 3 is what? 4.0 what? 0.4 what? 0.4. So it means this line entering here is going to enter here. Are we following? I'm just giving you, you can use your hand to sketch from here. This is, anything you draw on this one will fit the person's leg perfectly. It will fit the leg. But just giving you point and point and point and point and point. Now, you are going to measure the length of from here to this outside point. On our measurement, this is 5.05. You are going to measure the one third of it. 5.05 divided by 3. 1.68. So you measure 1.6 or 1.7. 1.567. Very close to this point, meaning that you can also use this point, but in some cases it will not be this point. Okay, so it means here is coming like this to enter here, to enter here. You're already shaping this one out. I think we have gotten to around here now. So you measure from here to here and you mark the one third. That is where this one will now enter this line from. Are you seeing the logic now? Measure from here to this is our boundary line. So everything we are measuring on this is against this line. So you measure from here, abi from the center to this line. This is also 5.1. Divide it by 3, but you are marking the one third from inward. When we are doing for this one, we mark the one third from outside because it's entering here. From in 5.1 divided by 3. 1.7. So it means we are coming all the way from here to here to here to here, and we are entering here. We will continue on the line until we get here, and until we get to where this point, this line intercepts here, we are already coming back. That's which part? Yes, we are already coming back to this side. So this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, all we are left with, wake up, all we are left with is how we are going to shape here to here. Is that okay? So again, again, is it confusing so I take it? Good. So again, we are going to measure from this top all the way here, and we are going to get the 1/3. This is 9.7. 9.7 divided by 3, 3.23. So this is 3.2. This point. So you are going to put a perpendicular line on this point, like this. Wherever this line crosses here, this line that is here is the next point. Is that okay? Sweat all you can. So we are coming from here to here to here to here to here. Now we are here. If you are a a a bad genius, you can connect here to here. This is the last part, but let's do some more calculation. So you measure the 1/3 of this line, but the calculation is not hard, it's just 1/3, 1/3. Measure from here to where this line we cross these two lines. Of course, the top one, our own line did not be, by way of the paper, was not able to get there, but let me continue it so that we will have at least a mark to use. Okay, so this point here, you find the 1/3 of this line, just the way we did for this line. The 1/3 here, you look for the 1/3 on this line. This one is 11. So 11 divided by 3 is what? Eh? So we are going to measure 3.6. This is 3.5.6.7, right? Is that okay? Good. You also measure 1/3 of this line, and you look for this line is 11.1. Sorry, this line is also, no, not 11.1. This is 11.2. Now 11.2 divided by 3 is what? 3.7, 3.7. Then this one to this one, you are going to find the 1/3 of it. So from here to here is 1.2, is 0.4. You are going to measure from outside here. Is that okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So our point is complete. Clap. Let's connect all the dots. Let's connect all the lines together. Now we have we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this, right? So follow this line, then you come here. You can even budge a little. You can budge a little outside, but you are coming back here. Then you enter here to enter here. Then you can shoot out a little bit from here, or if you don't shoot out, you are naturally drawing a block face. Then you are coming to this line, then you are coming through here. Try as much as possible not to budge around here. It is but if you budge there, that's most likely the design of your own insole. Then you cut out. Once you cut out, where's scissors? Paper scissors. For those kind of people, if you measure their leg, this insole will capture it. Say customer no go do wetin. So this is our insole geometrically built. Now, if for any reason you want to modify this, I think this is very easy to modify. By way of, if you want this one to be slimmer, let me show you from the back view so that you will not be seeing too many lines. If you want this one to be slimmer, or you want it to be slimmer, if you want this to be slimmer, you know that you are going to use the second line. If you use the second line, this one is going to shrink in. If you want this one to shrink in, fine. But after you put welt on this thing, this will be a perfect insole for my foot, because this is based on my foot. So putting it on my foot now, that the only thing that will be lacking here will be the allowance for the welt. Is that okay? It is expected to capture every part of my leg the way a slipper should capture my leg. Is that all right? So can you do your own now?